Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for Friday, March 25. And just before I start, I do need to go to the fracture clinic to have my collarbone looked at on Monday morning. So I won't be doing videos Monday morning. So I'm going to do the videos on Saturday morning. Okay, so they will be done much earlier. With the DAX here, we're looking at well, an A and a B and a C for a W, and then an X here, and then an ABC down for the Y to make a larger wave 4 correction. We know we got 5 waves up from the COVID low rather. So we can have this as a larger wave 3 here and wave 4 here. So so currently this box is the 50% and the 61.8%. The S&P 500 is also approaching its 61.8%, which is around the 45.50 for the S&P, and it having its last sort of legs up through here. Now we also need to understand that if we do push up through here, if Friday closes strong, then it's likely Monday's going to follow through on that. But also too, we can see that the 15,000 here is a bit of a brick wall in terms of resistance, so the market's going to get quite sort of volatile around those areas. So we could look at this as a bullish count as well, and if we were going to do that, well then we need to count this up here as 5 waves from this low here. And if we were going to go long at this point, then we would need to wait for the first leg down. As such, I'm dramatizing the size of it, but just to get it into perspective, the taking the long trade at that point would be the right thing to do, and taking the short trade at this point. So that's a 3-wave structure. So as an ABC pattern here, we can look at that going further up, and as a bearish pattern, we would see this sort of retest supply halfway up here and then move down at that point. So that's kind of what we'll be looking at, but we're going to refine that anyway. Also, this pattern here could develop across the level depending on how this plays out at this current high here. Let's go in and have a look. I think I've got it on this 5-tick chart here, which basically I've got it counted up as 5 waves, but it can be counted as an ABC, but it still doesn't change anything, because yesterday we were looking at a little 5 waves down here for the A wave. I know there's overlap there, but just be a little bit philosophical, because it all played out quite nicely with an A and a B and a C here for the B wave, and down for the C wave here. So now we're looking for a move to the upside here in 5 waves, and as I mentioned, the 61.8% comes in around here somewhere. So the levels here, that 14.5 is important. If I can remove this after 5, the next number is 8. So when we talk about 8, we also talk about group 2, which is 14,650 at that point, and then in here at 14,720. So that's all of group 2 in that space there. If I'm totally wrong about that, well then you can just short below here at that stage, and that will take you further to the downside, and would need to look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 up here, and then further down. But otherwise we'll climb up. If you're looking for a trade to climb up on, obviously the 500 is going to be the most important number, but the next one would obviously be the 400. So getting support on the 400 would be a catalyst to climb higher at that point. This is also the same for the stock 50 here, where we have wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave for wave 4, and then continuing to the upside. It does appear that we have a nice impulse wave down to this low here, so once again anything below that we'll be able to look for the short trade on that side. Okay, the FTSE, well, this is the F2 FTSE, the FTSE 250 rather. So yesterday we were talking about, I mean, it stands quite nicely as an A wave here, a B wave here, and 5 waves down for the C wave here. So that could be a low in place, and we could be looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and then moving to the upside. But otherwise an A wave and a B wave up here, and then down from that point. But we're not going to short this unless we get the 61.8% currently is sitting just below the 20,000. So we would need that as the retested resistance to short that. We can see that from the stochastics here, they're quite toppy at the moment, so we noted that yesterday. I haven't really pulled all that apart yet. It could be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 already done and dusted in there, or we get one more high in here. But yeah, look, until this comes below the level here, well, then we can just, well, we can't short it really below, above the level at that point. I mean, we could if you wanted to go for the short term in through here, but yeah. Anyway, the long trade would come from that B wave high, if that's where we're going to go from at that point. But that's that market. And the FTSE here, we're just looking up at another move to finish this off here, and this will be at the 7.5 area here. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, probably dramatizing the size of that too. So here we'll just see if we get a classic trading levels pattern for the upside. So we've got at 7.5, we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. That will be in 5 waves. So if we're going to be bullish beyond this 7.5 here, we need this whole pattern to play out across this particular level here in this instance. So yeah, otherwise we're looking for a top here, and then we'll move further down at that point. Once again, if this low is taken out here, then you can look to short that at this point. Otherwise we'll need to catch it over here. But I really want to get really clear on the 7,500, as a pattern here, as the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC, because we might need to go long over here. If we don't get the long, then we'll look for the short over here. So it's going to take a little bit of time to allow this to unfold and to fall into place with all of this. So the main point here is the market's not going very far from here. The only thing I can see that would be of any consequence would be shorting below here at this stage, and you could possibly even move in lower at this low here. So for the euro US dollar, well, first of all, we'll just look at the the dollar index here. We've got wave A, B and C for wave 4. We've been looking for this to push up. It hasn't really been the nicest move to the upside, but we've kind of hung in there with it, and it's sort of edged higher. And we'd still note that this here is in 3 waves here, this little move here, so we should be moving above here. Obviously the 900 is going to sort of pin it down a little bit here as well, but we're still getting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll look for a little ABC pattern here, and then further upside. So yeah, a bit of a corrective pattern here somewhere, and then further upside there. But this would be also a classic trading levels pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and so on. But look, it's doing all the right things. It's just looking a bit ragged at this point. But yeah, if it finds support on the 900, then it's definitely going up from that point. I mean, we could consider a top being in place because we've got an impulse wave here. This is not the best impulse wave, but still we're using it as a wave 3. I might have to, as a wave C, might need to label that a little bit differently. But anyway, as I mentioned, from the low here, let's just see if we do push up, and it is pushing up. It's just not giving me a really nice clean structure there. So, but if that pushes up in a dogged way, then the euro will push down in a dogged way as well. So we've had it as wave 3 here, with wave W, X and Y here for wave 4. And then I've just been doing my best to look at this. We've got wave 1 here and 2 here, wave 1 here and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for 1, looking for an A and a B and a C back for 2, and then we can look to short it and be nice because we're below this nice big number here as well, this 101 here, It's broken the trend line over here, which is good. It's a sign of weakness when it comes through this. It takes a little while, a bit like a classic trading levels pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first low below the level, and then the retest here. And as I mentioned, sometimes you always get that second retest here, so that looks like the case at this point. But yeah, we can look at this coming further down. I mean, this has been moving with the DAX, so maybe it's just going to hang out there a little bit longer until the DAX tops out, and then it can move down at that point. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.